Oh, look at Keto.
Yeah.
It's your birthday?
French onions is really popular.
Her Prince George's County mother was killed in a violent attack by her ex and the father of her children.
He killed my baby. I won't see her anymore.
I can't tell you why that happened, but what I can tell you is that it should not have.
I can't believe he did this to the mother of his kids.
She did try to get away, but it was not in time. It was too late.
She was a beautiful person, a loving mother. She treated her daughter so good. Everybody loved my daughter. Now she's gone, he's gone, and I hope he stay gone.
On June 16th, 2025, police rushed to an apartment in Prince George's County, Maryland. Inside, they found a young woman beaten and strangled by her boyfriend. He was arrested on the spot and charged with first and second-degree assault. 2 weeks later, he was released and placed on house arrest. Just 4 days after that release, police were called again, but this time, it was for murder. This is the tragic story of Sharita Cristwell, a talented makeup artist and devoted mother of 2 little girls. May her family find peace in this unimaginable pain. And as we tell her story today, let it remind us all, the warning signs are always there, and sometimes we react too late. Welcome to Femme True Crime, where we tell the raw, untold stories behind the headlines. If you're drawn to truth, justice, and powerful storytelling, join the family. Subscribe now.
Coming from the condo, I'm picking you up.
Sharita was born and raised in the Prince George's County area, a devoted daughter and sister. Her infectious laughter and warm spirit touched everyone around her. As a makeup artist, Sharita had a gift, transforming faces, boosting confidence, creating beauty. It wasn't just her job, it was her passion. Friends say she lit up every room she walked into, using her talents to empower others. But above all, Sharita was a mother. Her 2 precious daughters loved and adored their mom. She was raising them right. Photos show her cradling them, their faces lit up with joy whenever she was near. Her family remembers her as warm, funny, loyal, a woman who loved deeply and dreamed big. In recent months, her life was finally starting to look up. She was focusing on her business, creating a stable home for her girls, and hoping to build a future full of happiness and safety. But those dreams would be brutally cut short on July 5th, 2025, by a horrific act that would leave her family shattered and a community demanding answers. Sharita met Harry Lindsay in Prince George's County. 2 young people trying to build a life, drawn together by what seemed like love. In the beginning, there was happiness. Their lives became intertwined, and together they had 2 beautiful daughters who became the center of Sharita's world. Harry often spoke about wanting to marry Sharita. To outsiders, it looked like a family growing stronger, a man ready to settle down. But behind closed doors, things were falling apart. Harry wasn't always faithful. Friends say he cheated on Sharita, lied to her, and hurt her heart more times than she could count. Eventually, she'd had enough. Determined to find happiness again, Sharita began seeing someone new, someone who treated her better, someone who didn't cheat on her, didn't lie, didn't leave her wondering if she was loved. But when Harry found out about this, everything changed. His jealousy grew dark. He began threatening Sharita, telling her he would kill her, and kill her new boyfriend too. In one chilling moment, he even sent her a picture of her own car parked outside her new boyfriend's home, a silent warning that he knew exactly where to find them both. It was a terrifying escalation, the kind of rage that no apology can erase. The situation left Sharita scared, not just for herself and her new boyfriend, but for her 2 little girls. She knew Harry's jealousy wasn't harmless anymore, and soon, Harry would try to make good on his threats, setting off a chain of events that would leave an entire community shattered. On June 16th, 2025, the fear Sharita felt would explode into violent reality. That day, police were called to Harry Lindsay's apartment in Landover, Maryland, after reports that he had brutally attacked her. When officers arrived, they found Sharita battered, bruised, and terrified. He had beaten her and choked her with his bare hands. Strangulation isn't just assault. Experts say when an intimate partner puts their hands around your neck, it is one of the clearest predictors of future homicide. In many states, it is treated as attempted murder because of how quickly it can turn fatal. Harry Lindsay was arrested that day and charged with first-degree and second-degree assault. Prosecutors pleaded with the court to keep him behind bars, warning that he posed a serious and imminent danger to Sharita's life. But despite their pleas, Harry was released. He spent just 2 weeks in jail before being granted release on bond and placed on house arrest with an ankle monitor. Think about that. He had strangled her. He had threatened to kill her. Prosecutors warned he was dangerous. And yet, the justice system decided he could go home. For Sharita, this wasn't just a legal failure. It was a death sentence waiting to happen. Harry Lindsay was released from jail on July 1st, 2025. The court placed him on house arrest, requiring an ankle monitor to track his movements. But an ankle monitor doesn't stop a man determined to finish what he started. For Sharita, these final days were filled with fear. She had already endured his threats, the promises to kill her and her new boyfriend, the photos he sent proving he knew exactly where to find them. But then, something unexpected happened. After his release, Harry called Sharita's mother. He didn't call to threaten her daughter again. This time, he called to apologize. He told her that he really loved Sharita, that he wanted to marry her.
He said, "Ma, I want to talk to you about something." I said, "Okay, I'm a listen." He said, "I love your daughter." He said, "I want to marry your daughter."
But Sharita's mother was not moved. She asked him, "If you really loved my daughter, why didn't you marry her in the nearly 10 years you've known her? Why would you put your hands on her? Why would you choke her?"
And I said, "If you love my daughter, why would you put your hands on my daughter?" I said, "If you want to marry my daughter, why didn't you marry my daughter before you had them 2 beautiful girls that you all have?" I said, "Don't sit on this phone and tell me that you love my daughter and you don't mean it." I said, "I'm going to tell you, don't ever put your hands on my daughter again or we're going to have a problem." He said, "Ma, I'm sorry and I love you. I love your daughter. I'll never do it again."
Harry had no answer that could make sense of what he had done. Her mother had no idea that in just a few days, her daughter's life would be ripped away forever.
4 days later, he killed my baby. I can't believe he did this to the mother of his kids.
We don't know every detail of what happened in those 4 days after his release. We don't know what final conversations were exchanged, or if Sharita felt a flicker of hope that he would finally leave her alone. But what we do know is that the man who once promised to love her forever was about to keep his darkest promise instead. On July 5th, 2025, barely a month after Sharita's 29th birthday, 3 weeks after he tried to choke her to death, and just 4 days after Harry Lindsay was released from jail, something unimaginable happened. We may never know exactly why Sharita went to Harry's apartment that Sunday afternoon. Maybe they were trying to make up. Maybe he called her over to apologize. Maybe she was picking up her belongings, telling him her final goodbyes once and for all. But what we do know is that around 3 p.m., neighbors heard an argument erupt between them. Voices rose, tension snapped. Then 2 gunshots shattered the quiet of the neighborhood. Panicked neighbors called 911, reporting what they had heard and what some saw. When police arrived at the apartment, Harry was gone. But lying there in a pool of her own blood was Sharita Cristwell, shot twice, pronounced dead at the scene at 3:35 p.m. The man who once promised to love her forever had kept his promise to kill her instead. Harry Lindsay, despite being on house arrest with an ankle monitor, had vanished, but his freedom didn't last long. Several hours after police arrived on the scene, the search for Harry intensified. The Metro Transit Police Department provided critical surveillance footage that helped investigators track his movements. Working alongside the Homicide and Fugitive Unit, officers pieced together exactly where he had gone. Their efforts paid off. That same day, after hours of tireless searching, Harry Lindsay was found and arrested. He was taken to the Department of Corrections, where he is now being held without bond. He was charged with first-degree and second-degree murder, the same man who once promised to love her. Instead, he took her life. For Sharita's family, the pain is unimaginable. Her mother said this pain will never go away. She lost her only daughter in the most brutal way possible. But the deepest wounds remain with Sharita's 2 little girls. They cry every day asking for their mom, her family shared. They're too young to understand why their mother will never come home. On her GoFundMe page, created to help cover funeral expenses and support her daughter's future, her family wrote, "We are asking for help to bury Sharita with dignity and to care for the beautiful daughters she left behind." A community left grieving. 2 little girls left without a mother, all because someone who promised to love her couldn't stand to let her go. Sharita Cristwell's death is not an isolated tragedy. In the United States, Black women face a 35% higher risk of being killed by an intimate partner compared to white women. And there's something the courts often overlook: strangulation. Experts say that if a woman is strangled by her partner, she is 7 times more likely to be killed by him later. But time and time again, the system underestimates the warning signs. How many more women have to die before strangulation and repeated threats are treated as the lethal dangers they are? How many more families will be left grieving, screaming for a justice system that listens before it's too late? Sharita Cristwell was more than just a headline. She was a talented makeup artist, a loving daughter, and above all, a mother to 2 little girls who will now grow up without her smile to guide them. If you or anyone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please don't wait. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. Because we cannot keep losing beautiful lives like Sharita's. Thank you for watching this video. Help us grow the channel by subscribing. And as always, stay safe.